All right, it is 6:30 in the evening on July 15th, 2026. I am in a $30 Walmart tent. It is my second, this time around, car camping that is, in my return to the state of Colorado. From Texas, although I'm not from there, I'm from Oregon, but I'm coming back to Colorado after formerly living on my own land in Pagosa Springs. And I will be writing a book about it. By the way, for those that are new, click the link below. Head over to coloradodreaming.substack.com and get yourself a subscription. All right, so we're talking about these things. And I am in the tent, and I am practicing a simple way of life. It is raining. Okay, and I'm going to turn this around real quick. I've mentioned this a few times. So like the zipper broke on the flap here. And so I have clips holding this closed. Okay, that's what's going on there. And so the goal is to attain some balance, some equanimity, some peace of mind while in this space. Right, so, at times it can be a little claustrophobic to be in a space like this and not to be able to be out walking and doing certain things, but this is good practice. I lost a journal today when I was in Alamosa, unfortunately, though. So that doesn't happen often. I will have to start over. And so I'm trying to document the behind-the-scenes reality. And where it's not being documented on the journal, or in the journal, it is being done here on YouTube, on Substack, and on Facebook. And I have 2 accounts. Okay, so that's what I want to do. I want to document my travels so that I can look back on it. And I want this to be a much better experience. I'm a few months into this. Today being the 15th of July. So about 75 days. About 75 days, it's almost 3 months since I've been, and we don't have to say the word. And so I'm continuing to progress. The memory stuff comes and goes, but lifestyle plays a role. I'm not proud of the fact that I drank 10 beers last night. It was Red Ale. Pine Stripe, Red Ale. But it's going to happen sometimes, and I try to stretch it out to where it's like once every 2 weeks. And I was up till 2 a.m. on this computer using that battery bank in the middle of the night. And I have a little table out there, by the way, that I purchased. Hopefully the water isn't doing much damage to it, but then again, it was a $12 table. So I have a table out there that I purchased from Walmart. This is a rock, by the way, that I have like 6 of these inside the tent to weight this down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 or 8 stones. It's actually not a bad, so I've never actually camped this long. I don't think, in a tent, I don't think that I've been in a tent this long consecutively that I can recall. Because what I'll do is I'll be thinking about this and be like, how do I, because I want to also maintain gratitude, but how do I make this exciting? It's hard to be fun, to have fun with it, but as Gypsy Fox recommends, try to have fun with it. And so, being observant of the things that I've never done before, and how it may play a role in positive, upward moving mental health, as opposed to going downward in frequency. Okay, so that's essentially what I'm going through. Who knows what I'm going to forget in that journal? But probably some LGBT female with blue hair or red hair is going to find it and read it and throw it away, or not even read it at all. Because they are Gen Z at that Malago's coffee shop in Alamosa. So I'll just go ahead and start over again. But the act of writing is healing. In fact, I want to write right now. But because it's still raining, I am going to stay inside the tent. And so through these videos, and then at some point I'll grab my microphone and attempt to do long form podcasts, audio only podcasts, right here in the tent. And right now I'm sitting in a lotus position. I can't necessarily sit that way for a long period of time, but look at what I picked up for about $1.50, $2. Right here. And it's got a strap here for like a backpack. This is a secondary backpack chair. Okay, so, and I could try it out right now if I want. Just put up this way. Get up. And then move the sleeping stuff slightly. And then just fill it out. See how this works. And I'll show you something else new. So, being able to do show and tell, for example, yeah, this works out, is fun. That part's fun. So this was purchased for $5. And then a couple dollars for the D batteries. So I want to find out how long this lasts. And yeah, as I can tell, yeah, this is not bad for background lighting. Not bad at all. Go ahead and put that there. Perfect. It's balanced perfectly on the battery bank. Let's keep talking about it. What's going on here with having power and then devices, and the laptop battery is shot, so it has to be plugged into the battery bank. This whole setup would be much more complicated. Okay, so there's a point here, so we'll keep flowing with it. Would have been a lot more complicated to pull off years ago. Right? That's what I want you to keep in mind, is how much we've come with technology. But as a result of coming pretty far with technology, it surpassed our humanity. And so there are some very stupid, immoral people out there, and those two are tied together. Incompetency, stupidity, a sense of possession. The visualization of the electromagnetic influence via the cell phone, the unnatural magnetic field, like almost a color or a spirit, like that technology has invasive abilities. More than what most people understand. So when I'm in town, you know, I can visualize it like Alamosa. Much easier, and there was a real sense of poverty and rage. I did not feel well while there. The very fact that I lost my journal and I'll have to call back to some places is, you know, again, yeah, it is indicative of how in a stressful environment, I'll forget things. But there wasn't a sense of, you're really going to find much peace here? So I went in for some food just to get a break from this place, Crestone, Colorado, which the author Eric Karlstrom has written about, suggested it's the Vatican of the New World Order. That's a bit heavy to go that direction, I think. Maybe. But he talks about some fairly interesting concepts. And so while I'm here, I am taking in knowledge. So I go to the library. Not every day. But the goal is to spread my energy out. Not always to concentrate it in one place. Right? Or to be like too heavily involved in like a routine. So I mix it up. There's a park that I've identified that I've been using in town here that is Wi-Fi. And then I can take my cord and run the cord to the table so I could sit there for hours. and I'm surrounded by trees. So I'm doing that while forest bathing. And I'm basically still forest bathing now. I'm still engaged in that. I'm also monitoring how much moisture is coming through, how much is building up here, and then how much is going to drip down. So far, so good. And then I'm also thinking about, because the winter's coming up and I am in the Salida Crestone area, Salida might be more manageable, probably is, than a lot of other places. Easier to basically survive the winter without having a typical structure with conventional heating. So being that I have my cat, going to a typical shelter is not going to be a solution. And the cat comes first. I got to remind people that. I will not drop my cat off at the shelter. So I'm going to have to look for some sort of a tent, probably, if that's the way that I'm going to go, that has some more insulation capabilities, that is designed for winter. Might have to shop around, but maybe I'll get it used for $100 and it'll be worth a lot more. And the idea would be to put a Mr. Buddy heater in that, and that may or may not work. I'll have to do some research on that. And then, of course, there's the possibility of going to Arizona. There are certain places where people go to camp there for months at a time, either on BLM land or spending, like, say, 180 or 200, it might be more, on, say, like a lot, a campsite, actually. And then when it comes April, they leave Quartzsite, if that's what it's called, and they go to other places like Flagstaff, from what I've heard, Sedona. So I do feel a spiritual calling to go to Sedona, but also, and I haven't said in a while, Tucson, but also to fly through Phoenix. And I say, fly like an eagle. So I'm drawn to Arizona. The criminal element part and the overflow from California and the negative aspects of it and its history, that's concerning. And then, of course, there's a dystopian future that I sense. It's always kind of also been like ground zero for dystopian movies. Like, Arizona has had a lot of that activity. Again, a lot of movies have been filmed there. So, because things are so cementified, hey, there's a new word. Because things are so solidified culturally with white America in Colorado. The reason why Arizona would be better, I just feel like physically that I would fit in more to the way that things are there. With the red rocks literally and my skin tone, that it's going to flow. I was even talking to Gypsy Fox going, I just need to get up my energy. Confidence. When I say get my energy up, if there's something that I need to do to calibrate this energy that's not racial influence but energy, then I will work on that energy and work on that nervous system hyperdrive to the best of my ability. But it's difficult when I meet people in the real world and I get really excited energetically that I'm talking to them. And so in some cases, I might talk too much. And I'll also allow myself to be drained. I'm the type of person that can be taken out, not to give anybody ideas, but can really get off. Really get off. Having deep conversations at a bar for hours about deep subjects. I know some of you are already doing that. I probably think it would be interesting to talk to me in Vegas or in one of these environments. And I don't want to let the fact that I'm going to be 50 in 4 years slow me down or alter me to any type of negative thinking. The signs of aging is there. But I shouldn't be thinking that I missed out for the last 10 or 20 years. That I'm going to be moving forward. And I'm speaking with positive affirmations now. And I'm going to find the community that I'm looking for. So I use this word inclusive, but it's so overused. Let's just talk about it. To where I can be who I really need to be rather than just be whoever I want to be. The person that I'm trying to be, the person that I'm working to be, as well as the person that I am now, to continue to be on that path, then it's going to flow. It's going to be a part of a flow. Oh, I can see it now. With the right community, with hills and landscaping, and then someone teaching me how to landscape. Receiving the serotonin from the dirt. By putting my hands in the dirt, I think I can grow things. I want people to see me in that light. That a person can do amazing things with his hands, including massaging women and having experience, healthy experience, giving them energy platonically through massage. Yeah. These things and more should happen. Yeah, let's talk about that. The healing touch of hands, shoulders, elbows, electronic freedom technique, and aspects of romantic sexuality. These things and more are very healing, especially when it's not just thrown out there in a promiscuous way and using people and throw them in the way. And it's like, I have feelings for people. I want to cuddle with certain people and just hold them before our world ends or something, before whatever. Just to create, because you understand what I'm getting at. When you do that with people, you create a field. There's many fancy words for this field. A field of energy. For the last couple of weeks, I've been consuming the full spectrum sativa as well as indica. Right? So as the CBN or the CBD, right? It's not just THC. But drinking lowers the energy, and it can attract negative thoughts and some negative experiences. And so the last couple of weeks when I've done it, there's been some sort of a physical loss. One of the things that I have over here, by the way, are potatoes from the food bank, because the deer were up here almost eating straight out of my hand. He was eating the potatoes out of the box. So that was cute. I apologize to my mother regarding angry texts that have been sent. Not just recently, since feeling she didn't care, but also in Texas. But that doesn't mean that I'm a big fan of her behavior. And then there wasn't at times reasons for me to be upset. But right now I'm trying not to be, to change the energy. I notice when I do something like that, I might be contacted by 2 other women. What I'm getting at is I have a theory that when a mother and a son, or even father, but my father wants to know, do some sort of a healing or bury the hatchet, that it does affect something energetically. And or I have theories that when she looks, or other people look at people that are slandering me, they can feel that, and it kind of wigs them out because they weren't expecting that. When someone's mother is looking at someone hating on someone, that energy actually does something. And some people literally have the morality, even as bullies, hey, leave alone people's family, mother, father. And so sometimes when they sense that, they back off. I remember one time she commented to one person that was calling me a shapeshifter, what sewer did you crawl out of? And this guy was possessed. He was sitting there in Tampa, Florida, maybe in public housing, doing crack, doing meth, doing some sort of mind-altering substance, I assume. And then he's basically getting on YouTube and he's having these public hallucinations. That this person's this person, this person's this person, this person's this person, and then he's going on and on with, this his own spiritual religious jargon. He just sounds like a possessed representative of the devil. We have some rope here that's going to go with the tarp. When I get around to developing the technique of using the tarp, right, as some sort of cover from the sunlight to remain in the tent, like during the day, right? So as the temperatures start to go down, even though it's good to get out and get some exercise, right, I'm trying to get to a point where I can be mentally, in mind, body, and spirit, in the tent space without a need to leave. So it transforms from more than just a living space. It becomes a temple. And then from there, with the right temperature, to work in a space without any distractions or anyone else's energy. And that can be powerful for writing. So here I have the computer. It's plugged in right now and recording right now. Use the same space with the table to either write a book or write blogs. There's no reason why I should have to be plugged into the grid or on the internet to write. Plus, a certain person from Department of Human Services, they had extra keyboards. The idea is to stick a keyboard USB cord, into this laptop and then go to town. And in fact, I could just actually be sitting here. That's right. I could be sitting in this chair, probably moving my body or being more so in the center, like so, and then get to where, yeah, I'm not slouching too much. Or I can practice sitting in the lotus position and then typing that way. Some people do that on their bed. But the idea is to do it on the keyboard rather than the laptop for a number of reasons, including not touching something that has a certain amount of radiation coming off of it, which computers do. So it's 6:53 at the moment. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up. I can hear that the rain has stopped, so it may be walkable. My cat takes off during these periods, so it is staying dry somewhere, but at some point it will be coming looking for food, and I have a lot of wet cat food that I purchase for 10 cents each. The Salida Walmart will have on a regular basis cat food for 90% off. So I have this book on Gnosis, or ancient wisdom in the Christian scriptures. I have another video that kind of documents that I'm cleaning my car and I'm organizing things, so it's easier for me to, find things as opposed to losing them and looking for hours and hours and hours. But of course, if I go out in public and I take my journal, shit can happen. All right, that's all for now. I'll be back with more show and tell of some things that I am obtaining on the road of life and more stories.